Hello, Team Absolution fans, far and wide. It's time for another Digestible Bites video. It's been a little while, so we want to come back with you. I'm joined, of course, with the Irish God himself. Say hello, Keith.
How's it going, everyone?
We hope you're doing well. We hope you're doing good. We hope that you are doing fantastic. This will be the last video in this office/studio. After this, it'll be probably the same picture for Keith, but it'll be a much different picture on my side of the camera. So it'll be exciting. Big changes all around. So, but enough of that. Today we're going to do another clan discussion really quick. We are going to talk about D-Police, the robots everybody love. Keith, I know you share a special place in your heart for this clan.
Yeah, it is very much a love-hate relationship I've had with D-Police. There's so many stories that I could delve into with D-Police, but suffice it to say, I've never owned the clan officially, but I've borrowed it many a time, and it has both treated me incredibly well and incredibly poorly at the exact same time.
It is a deck that rewards the player for being incredibly lucky, while also punishing opponents who are completely unlucky.
Yeah, that is a great way to put it.
So this is another one of those clans where if you're really lucky, it's going to do well. Well, now, granted, in this game, D-Police is in a very hard position right now. I think, depending on what they do, and we'll talk about this at the end, what they do with the future of D-Police will be a much more interesting discussion. Because right now, it's in its this is basically I think what set 3.
Set 3, yes.
Set 3, and that's everything for this clan. So let's dive right in. Do what we usually do. It's time for that big old screen share.
Oh boy, time to get on to Zero.
All right. So Keith, can you see that?
I can indeed.
Now, as you can,
a couple missing cards.
Yeah, as you can see, I have unfortunately not been able to dive deep into this because I'm saving all of my chips for Awakening of Twin Blades. Therefore, I have not dived into this. The reason we're covering this clan right now is I think it is one of the more interesting clans to talk about in regards with the fact that right now there is a clan pickup at the time of the recording of this video. So you want to quickly go over the clan pickup for everyone, Keith, and why this is being focused on?
Sure. So from now, at least the recording of this video, which is the 20th, I believe it's going up today, and until the 25th, so you have about 4 days left. Basically, if you open the gacha that's specific to D-Police, and you'll know it's the one because it'll only show D-Police on the banner, and then all the animations, that they show like the cool, like, whoa, look at this unit. It's a D-Police unit. Whoa, look at this other unit.
It's Laurel.
Yeah, that's right. Is the rates for D-Police are dramatically increased. Like even more so than what it is for, like, let's say set 2 was to set 1. So you're very, very likely to pull either Laurel or Dayusha as the 2 triple Rs. And then all your double Rs as well are in an incredibly higher rate, your rares and your commons.
Precisely. So that's what makes this thing better than the other things. That gacha is pretty good. Another 5 days. Go ahead and scoop it up if that's what you're feeling. So let's dive into the clan. Let's start with the starters, right? So you got your Forerunners, Counterblast 1, rest this unit, and one of your other dudes gets plus 2k. You're not using Saturday, so let's move on from here, all right?
Yeah.
No matter what situation.
It's an upgrade. He used to be a vanilla. He used to be the vanilla 6k for the clan back in the day.
That's true. That's true. And I give him a high five for that. A nice solid dunk. We also have the boy Enigman Flow. When rode upon by Enigman Ripple, add an Enigman Wave from your deck to your hand. When you ride Enigman Storm, call this card. So he is your Black Cougar. He is your Blaster Dark Ride Chain. He is all that ride chain. Yeah. Amber Dragon. We've talked to him. This is Gen 1 ride chains. They're alongside with the Suki. They're in the Gen 1 ride chains. We like these. These are good ride chains.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least, we've got Warrior of Destiny Dai. He's your grade 3 searcher. Not very relevant now. Could be relevant in the future. As are all grade 3 searchers. Not very relevant now. Could be relevant in the future. Do we not have the other starter? Or do we not get him until the...
You're talking about Goyusha?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goyusha wasn't until the Blue Storm Armada set, so we don't get that until the next wave of support.
Well, that's just upsetting.
That's right.
That's all. That's it for grade zeros. All right. That's your boys. Right now, I mean, what are you running? What would you run?
I think right now the best one to run out of the three is Enigma and Flow. You could make some sort of build if you wanted to do like a budget build of D-Police, basically. Worker Pod Saturday is actually pretty decent of comboing with like Enigma and Rain or what's the name of the other one? Miracle Beauty. Because of one only needing to get plus 2k and Miracle Beauty also standing a unit in the same column as it. So Saturday is probably the play in some sort of budget police deck. I don't think you run the Great Researcher right now.
No, Great Researcher gets a pass. So we're going with the ride chain. This brings us to grade ones. As you can see, I'm lacking some of them. Your 4 PGs, crack your medals if you so feel the need. Don't crack your medals if you want to hold on to them. I'm sitting on a good number of medals right now myself. I'll have to use them eventually.
You saving them for Gold Paladins? What are you going to save them for?
I think I'm saving them for golds. Depending on what my pools go for Awakening, I might crack some for Shadows.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I'm definitely reserving for golds.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what else comes out later. I don't want to play Narcomi. I'll tell you that right now. I'll leave that to you.
All right.
So your 4 PGs, you're going to be running them. He's our boy.
Diamond Days. Always loved that art, actually. I thought it was a really cool PG art.
Yeah, definitely in the original series, I thought it was a lot cooler than in G. Or V series. So we'll skip the Triple R. We'll talk about him at last. You got Enigma and Ripple. If your soul is an 8K, basically generic grade ones. He's your Javelin. He's your Blaujunger? No, Blaujunger I think is the first one. Panzer.
Yeah.
And then we've got Glory Maker. When he boosts, if your damage is 4 or more, plus 4K. That's a nice. I like this as a 10K booster. He's one of the more easy 10K boosters to get.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just pretty consistent. You're always going to be at some point of the game probably really high damage, and if you're not, you just absolutely blew them out of the game. And so, good job.
Precisely. Then the rest of these are take your pick kind of boys. All right, you got your Quilts.
The discard draw, Airmo.
You got your Airmo clone. You got Restless Unit. Have one of your other units get 2K.
Yeah, he's actually pretty decent Cosmo Roar in this deck. Just because he's free, he's not any counterblast.
Yes, I kind of agree with that.
The rest is fairly decent.
Absolutely. And then you got Counterblast 1. He's your generic CB1, get 1K. Like I said, early Vanguard, a lot of clones.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you got your AK. You're going to be using him, obviously. And then last but not least, Big Daddy Laurel.
Yeah, that's right. The one and only. The card that has defined deeply since the beginning.
This card has seen itself on the restriction list, on the ban list, on the restriction list, on the what to watch list, on every list you can imagine. Laurel at some point made it, because he at 5K he was silly. At 7K I can't see him being anything less than silly.
Yeah, he was only 4K. It wasn't even a 5K.
Yeah, he was 4K. Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, that's right. He was very small.
So, Commander Laurel, when your Vanguard attack hits, rest 4 of your rear guards to stand your Vanguard. This can get dangerous because it doesn't take away any drives. It doesn't take away any power from the Vanguard. You better hope you're packing 2 PGs when this guy goes off.
Yeah, he's actually, because of the way Zero works, he's very, very interesting now because, attack orders have changed so much. So with Laurel now, new Zero Laurel, basically, even though the effect is the same, the power is different. What you do here now in D-Police is you attack rearguard to rearguard, just front row rearguard to front row rearguard. Let's say hit the grade 2. You attack Vanguard unboosted to the other rearguard. And then you have the 4 rearguards still standing. And then you rest all of those. And then stand.
Yeah.
And then smack again.
And then if you check some crits, if you check some stuff, like I said, you better pray you're packing the PGs.
Yeah, that's right. At this point, it's you're getting more checks for worse Perfect Riser, I guess, in terms of Depolice in its current iteration.
Right. It's just I think that this deck's a little little more inconsistent,
Yeah,
and therefore it's an issue. But if you can get a flow going with this,
yeah, it's real nice.
get away. So Commander Laurel, he's a triple R. He's one of 2 triple Rs in this set. The good thing is grade one wise, Laurel's your only triple R, and their double R is only the PG. The rest of this you're going to get through just opening packs.
Exactly.
So pretty easy to build from a grade 1 perspective. Let's move on to the grade 2. So this is where things get a little more heavy, but not too much more. Okay, just because I don't have it doesn't mean you won't. I haven't opened like anything in a while of this in the game recently. So let's first start with Cosmo Beak. When he's played CB2, have one of your other units gets 4K until the end of turn. This comes into play when we talk about Dayusha.
Yeah, and Enigma Storm, for that matter.
And Enigma Storm, for that matter. So is the card overcosted? I think so. But is it necessary? I think so.
Yeah, that's right. It's just kind of like the early Vanguard setup where things were just kind of like pretty expensive for what you got. CB2 for plus 4K. There's a lot of units nowadays that just get plus 4K for existing.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We're definitely taking the one interesting thing in a lot of these Vanguard cards from Vanguard Zero is Vanguard is definitely showing its ancient age, right? Like,
yeah,
if you're just coming from V series, or even if you're coming from G, you're seeing some skills that you're like, man, things costed that much. Yeah, there's a reason why we used to say like, man, I remember when you had a CB2 to retire something.
Yeah, that's right. The classic effect.
So he's got to be played. You also have your Super Dimensional Robo Lady. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, one of your units gets plus 3K until the end of turn. It's also helpful for this is a very synergetic deck, right? You have to have all the combo pieces to work it. So you're gonna need some of this as well. I think Keith would agree, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's just solid enough. It works well on a grade 2 rush as well. With the grade 2 Enigman, I don't remember which one that one is. Enigman Wave, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see that card here shortly. But those two work well together
Enigman
on
Wave.
a rush.
Yeah, because he's going to get 10K, and then when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if it was 14 or greater right before attacking, draw a card. It's always good that they explain right before attacking now.
Yeah.
We get a much clearer indication of what this means.
Yeah, it's basically you can't throw a trigger on this and get the effect.
Exactly. So if you have CB2, you can get a free card out of this with the Cosmo Beak. If you wanted to. If
you had some combination of Lady and, let's say, Cosmo Roar or Mass Police Grander, that also triggers it, but you need 2 effects there as opposed to 1.
Right.
But it still works off.
Also works off boost. So, oh no, does it? No, doesn't work off boost.
No. It's power.
Yeah, it's power. Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's good that they made that clear.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've also got Platinum Ace. When this unit attacks, if its power was 13K or greater, right before attacking, it gets critical +1 until the end of battle. This is where those +14, those +4 can come in handy.
Yeah, that's right. Smack them back with a crit.
That's the thing, is like sometimes you got to look at Cosmo Beak not as just a +4, but in certain situations, it's a trigger starter. It's a catalyst. It's going to turn on your deck. So that's why it's important in this regard. But Platinum Ace, good card. I like him, especially right now. You got any more to add on Platinum Ace?
Nothing in particular. It's just kind of nice to get the crit that early in the game because you know it's not going to get PG'd.
Exactly. Earlier you get the crits, the better. The later you get the crits, the worse. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just won't have the PG, or they might only have 1, and you can bait it out if you get enough crits.
Yeah, exactly right.
Next things, we got the 10K Twin Order. You're gonna run them. He's a 10K. You got your 8K. I don't think you're gonna actually be using this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the most free, I suppose, of the plus, power gainers, but he's only an 8K, so he's pretty not great.
You also have the Eisenkugel, but for
Yeah.
them, I don't see you using this just because you want to be on Dayusha on grade 3. I
Yeah.
think. At least
Well,
my
we still have Enigma and Storm,
yeah,
technically.
right, but do you really want to split the different, like, for example, like I run Eisenkugel at 3, but that's because, like, if I'm not on Stern, I'm already in a bad place.
Well, you got
Like,
to remember, Jose, that like back in the day, Storm was just better Dayusha, pretty much.
that's
If you
true.
got the chain off, so like he's just an 11K Dayusha. He has to hit 15 as opposed to 14. But
I mean, that's a good point. So you suggest people run the Eisenkugel clone?
I think the Eyes and Google clone is very worth running just because they're actually really hard to get rid of on the field. Like you have
Yes.
to commit a full column to attack these things usually, unless you have another 12K yourself. Like being 12K is really beefy as a rear guard.
Now this becomes moot in a month, though.
This is true, but for right now,
Well, for
I
right
think it's a
now,
really solid
yeah,
choice. Yeah.
that's a good choice. All right, you convinced me, Keith. See, even here on these videos, we're discussing, we're having
Oh, that's right.
this.
Corroboration, all that good stuff.
No, I'm convinced he's good. He's worth running. Now let's talk about the grade 3s. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the big
Oh,
boys.
you do have a Duyusha.
Yeah, I have one Dayusha. I pulled it in a one pack. I pulled like three triple R's, and one of them was animated.
Oh, that's right. I remember that
Yeah.
nutty pack. Yeah.
So let's get into it. Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha. Okay. CB2, he gets 2K, so that puts him up to 12. When it attacks the Vanguard, if its power was 14K or greater right before attacking, it gets critical +1 until the end of battle. So, Enigma Storm might be good along junction with this for now, but you're gonna need 3 or 4 of these boys eventually.
Yeah, that's right. We get great Dayusha, and the cross ride requires this underneath him. So he's not like the best thing in the world. He's a bit overcosted for what he's getting. You CB2 for +2K is a little sad. At least it's an improvement over the original because that's an ability the original did not have, and it's Vanguard Rearguard, which is nice.
That is nice. Also, it's nice that it has that because technically, if you had a Cosmo Roar, you could CB2, then also Cosmo Roar have the critical.
Yeah, that's right.
So you could rest the Cosmo Roar, give it 2K. You could rest. You could CB2, get himself 2K, and now you still have your full rearguard columns, but your Vanguard still has the 10K, the critical on it. So
exactly,
there are much worse situations to be in. Is basically what we're saying here. You're gonna need them for the break ride, for the cross ride later. But we're going to talk about that shortly, I think. I really want to talk about this clan in depth at the end about future proofing and what you need. But Dayusha, he's the main boy that they want to push on you right now. But if you're feeling a little more budget, here's your boy, Enigma Storm, right? If Enigma Wave is in your soul, he's an 11K, which we like 11Ks.
Exactly.
I would agree with that. Not quite 12Ks, but we like 11Ks.
Mm-hmm.
When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if its power is 15K or greater right before the attack, it gets critical. So, like Keith mentioned earlier, it is exactly the same as Dayusha. It just starts at 1K higher if you hit the ride. If you don't hit the ride, then you're in an issue.
That's right. Yeah. Then he becomes much harder to trigger because you have to get 5K up on him. And there's no good effects to do that right now. It's at minimum 2 effects. The other one, Dayusha, could be at minimum 1 effect because of Cosmo Beak. Yes. So this guy really, really needs to hit the right chain.
Yeah. Now, granted, something I mentioned in Novas and something we kind of touched on in Shadows, you should theoretically get the grade 1 and 2 more often than not.
Yeah.
Getting up to grade 2 with those type of ride chains is easy. It's a very consistent ride chain because you just have to hard move for the grade 1 and you're good to go. Because the grade 1 will get you the grade 2. It's just getting the grade 3 that becomes an issue. Now, the grade 1 can search the grade 3 by ditching a grade 3, but then you have to have an extra grade 1. You see what I'm saying? Things get kind of dicey.
Yeah, that's right. All the combos that have to work together now are are making things more interesting.
Yeah. So the hardest part about hitting this ride chain, in my opinion, is getting the grade 3. That's the hardest part of the ride chain with these ride
Yeah.
chains. So do I think it's a bad card? No, I think it's like Keith mentioned. It is another Dayusha. It's just, and honestly, from my personal experience of playing, this is totally anecdotal, but from my personal experience of playing Stern a lot, I hit the ride chain more often than I don't.
Oh,
So,
yeah. It's very consistent. It's not like, oh, you're going to hit it like 30% of the time, like 1 in every 3 games. It's the majority of games. I'd say like maybe 3 out of every 4, 4 out of every 5, probably. You're getting there.
I would agree. You're going to get there more times than you're not going to get there.
Yeah.
And so that, especially if the more of these that you have, the more often you're going to hit the ride chain, right? So definitely, if you somehow can stumble into crafting material for this, get this. If you can't, that's fine. But really focus. And right now, like we talked about, there are only one. See, so if this is a deck you're seriously considering, drop the 4 metals. Get the 4 PGs, this is what I mentioned in the shadows. That way, if any of those double Rs you pull in the PG, we've already taken care of it. That's more crafting material that you can use to build other things you do need.
Exactly right.
It just depends on how much those metals. It's also important to know that you get, I think, 2 of those metals so far every season if you grind up the VP.
Yeah, and that's actually not a hard target to make. You will get that by just doing character fights if you didn't even want to rank fight.
Yeah, you can do that just every day. If you just plugged in, you played an hour or 2 a day. I got through both of those just casually without any VP farm or nothing like that. You can get to the 2 the medals.
Yeah,
it's really the 10 packs that require some serious commitment.
Yeah, that's a different story. But
so that's that on that. The rest of these boys. When this unit is played, CB2 have one of your other units at 4K. So he's Cosmo Beak, but a grade 3. I don't think he's a terrible backup choice, right? Because you got to pick at least 3 or 4 of these dudes.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
You just don't want to ride this guy.
No. Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Enigma Rain, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if it was 12K or greater, right before attacking, stay in one of your rear guards. I don't really like this one that much. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, it's not great, but again, when I was saying earlier, it was like if you want to build budgety police, it's perfectly fine to use because hitting 12K is very easy. Then literally any of your power up effects will get this card off.
That's fair. That's a good point. That is a good point. And then we've got Miracle Beauty. When this unit stands during your battle phase, stand another one of your guards in the same column as it. So this is basically the target for Enigma Rain, right?
Yeah.
You stand this boy, you stand the person behind it, or if you're running stand triggers. So that's another possibility as well. And then last but not least, Enigma Shine. I like his art for some reason. I don't like his head, but the rest of his pose, I'm chilling with his pose.
Yeah, the pose is cool. This is just Die Lady at grade 3, basically.
Yeah.
Much worse.
When he hits, choose one of your units, and he's 9K. Let's go and push him off to the side.
9K grade 3s you just don't even want to see.
So now we're at the end of that's an overview of all the cards in the clan. I'm going to go and do a little stop share here so we can get back and talk about really. I'm going to be honest with the audience. I honestly don't. I think that if you're building this, you're either going to go full metal and do it all the way right now during the clan pickup, or you're going to use the clan pickup to get what you need and move on. This is purely, in my opinion, a pass on this clan, get what you need out of it, move on. This is not what I recommend for a new player. This is not what I recommend for really anybody unless you know what's coming on the horizon. Now, with that, I'm going to pass it to Keith. I don't know if he disagrees with me on there. But
No. What you're saying is 100% correct. This is very much for the people that are either diehard fans of D-Police or people that just want to get what they want and sit on it and then call it a day. There's nothing really that's saying to you like, I'm going to use this to take down the perfect Riser Menace, or I'm going to use this to combat MLB here in like 2 weeks.
Right.
This is not that clan. This is a low tier 2, probably top tier 3 deck.
Right.
At best. So
absolutely. I think that this clan right now, and now I wasn't around in set 3, but I have a hard time believing this was powerful. Now, what you do need out of this set, the PGs, the Laurels, the Dayushas. And in my personal order, go ahead and drop, if you think you like, because I want to end with what there is on the horizon for Deep Police, because Deep Police has a beautiful future. If you want a clan to invest in now, then this is the one to do it, right? Because we talked about this in multiple videos now, and we're going to keep talking about it to remind the viewers that are just coming in, just catching us. Drop a comment if this is your first viewing of Team Absolution. We love you. Thanks for joining. The future for other clans are a little more bleak. Like we've already talked about, like Kagro, Shadows, Royals, right? They get this last amazing blast of support that stays relevant, but then Royals kind of drops off for a very long time. And Kagro will always be potent, but even it has a little bit of a dip once we get like late into Vanguard originally.
Yeah.
And Shadows is the only one that like stays consistent because Bushiroad's decided to make it consistent in Zero. But you gotta remember, in the history of Vanguard, Shadows was trash up until set 12.
Yeah, that's right. Then things changed a lot for Shadows, but up until then. Yeah.
So right now it's gonna be relevant until, maybe the end. And then it's going to get even more. So Shadows is always going to be a pretty decent investment, but it's also the hardest to build right now.
Yes.
Whereas like Kagro, they don't have that. Now, this is kind of the flip side. Let's say you already have the deck you want to build. Let's say you got your stuff ready for Royals, you have your stuff, but you're like bored. You're like, I want to start picking up something else. D Police is my choice for you, friend. D Police is the one.
It's an incredibly funny deck, and especially. Like they haven't seen any data mines, but like stuff like Die Kaiser is just absurd and creates the silliest games, especially when you have things like Laurel going on. So just wait. If you really want it to be like the longest of long plays, then maybe just get the 4 Laurels and call it a day.
That's what I was gonna say. In order of preference, if you want to future-proof this for D Police. If you want to jump in now for Deep Police, you want to go and drop the medals and the PGs. Just pick them up. You'll get them back over the next seasons anyways. Drop the medals, get the PGs, obviously. Get the Laurels. If you can't get the Dayushas, screw them. Because like this, even when you get the Crossbreak, I think Matt will even agree with me, right? If you're thinking about the future, right, you're not even going to play Dayusha later. I mean, you might because of 13 grade 3s, but you're waiting on Die Kaiser. You're waiting on the break ride. You're waiting on...
Break Dayusha is not even worth running cross rides. Like, to get the power. It's not even worth running that deck.
Oh, you're saying like
Dayusha's not even worth getting right now, yes.
Yeah, so Dayusha's not worth it. So in priority, get the Laurels because he's 7K.
Yeah.
And he's going to restand your Vanguard and then wait. I think he's like slowly. Okay. I didn't know if you were like trying to do like a slow exit.
Yeah.
I started standing up normally.
So I think would you agree with that or?
No. Yeah, that's definitely it. That like in order of priority, Laurel is the top one. The PGs are kind of weird because they are a priority, but you also have Sentinel medals, so you'll always be able to get them, assuming you play games. And then Dayusha, for if you want to play it on the next set, if you want to do the long play, then not particularly. And the double Rs will probably get phased. Maybe Dilady will stay. I don't know. We'll see on that front.
The double Rs are a little harder to predict where they'll go because we do know what is coming and what might be a double R in the future. Like Dragon, he could be a triple R in the future. He could be a double R in the future. We're not quite sure. That's another thing about Deep Police, though, is while we could talk about how it's worth holding on to, we also don't know when their next set of support will be, right? Because they don't get set again until, unless we do know. Do we know, Keith?
We know the set and they data mined it, but I don't think we have info when Japan is getting that particular one yet. But like it's all there. Like Cross Ride, Great Dayusha, Die Brave, those 2 are the triple Rs. I don't remember the rest. There's a bunch of other ones in there. Die Dragon, he's a double R because all those plus 3K attackers are double Rs. The 9K plus 3K.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Deep Police has one of the coolest features, in my opinion, in Vanguard because it'll get support in every season, so you can always anticipate that. Even into like Legion, where like nobody got support except for the main boys. Like it gets support. Right. So it gets support throughout it'll get support throughout the history of this game. It never has like a blank spot like the main 3 that we talked about.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's worth getting. if you like the aesthetic and you like the combo, I'm telling you, now this is where I want to end this video on, and it's now we're getting into pure speculation, right? Great Dayusha will probably follow a similar trend that Great Dayusha did in the card game. But what if Daikaiser follows the same in the card game?
Oh my.
And that alone, the possibility, makes it worth picking up the Commander Laurels if you're at all interested in what Daikaiser and what Break Rides will bring to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, Great Dayusha's fun. It's a much more concise deck when you get to Great Dayusha.
Yeah, that's right. It all just kind of functions. It's very, it's very much that Japanese mecha aesthetic of like everything goes to make the one big dude of a robot. And so like everything's functioning to make the strong Megazord or Voltron or insert whatever one you want to put in there. And the one thing I will say about this as well, that clan has the best looking SPs in the game, bar none, right now. Absolutely. Like in Zero, they're unreal. I saw some person that had like stupidly maxed out D-Police on like a YouTube video, and it was just like Enigma Storm, Dayushas, Laurels. I was like, this is disgusting, but also I pride you, I salute you, sir, on your wallet size.
Bend you in hard, jump in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where I really want to leave it. Is it the best clan in the game? Absolutely not right now.
No.
Does it have the possibility of being really good in the future? Yes.
Yeah.
But not, unfortunately, it won't be until beyond what we have the ability of seeing into right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is the hardest part, is that its strength can only be told beyond what we know.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Which unfortunately, and this is a broader discussion, this is the general idea of the three clans that are in that gacha. DI, Pale Moon, and
D-Police.
And D-Police all really don't hit their stride until even beyond where we're going in Limit Break. But they do get some good beefy stuff in Limit Break. So that's where we're gonna leave it here. I'm gonna give you the final note here on D-Police. What are your recommendations to the first person who's watching this video who's like, oh, I've been thinking about D-Police, what should I do? What is your recommendation to them?
I'd just say all roads come back to Laurel, baby. It's always Laurel. That clan has always just been that stupid card at grade 1. I mean, obviously Daikaiser as well, but you can't ever rest on that dude. You can't ever sleep on him. He's too good. Too damn good.
Exactly. And just really quick, Daikaiser, break rides are something that'll come in later in the game. I really don't think we're going to skip over break rides.
No, they've started to appear. Ildana is a break ride now in Zero, weirdly enough. Yeah, it's basically Mordred, but they just slapped it on Ildana instead.
That's
like original break ride Mordred, but now it's Ildana.
I wonder what they're going to do with Mordred.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Anywho, so we're getting break rides, and so break rides are basically skills when something's rid on top of it. And Daikaiser's was pretty broken. It got the breakthrough shield. It changed to grade 3s, so which all triggers are grade 3s. So I don't know how they're going to handle this. That when it releases, they could completely change it. It could be completely the same. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see what we can do when it happens. And that's it. I told Keith I'd give him the last word, and I didn't give him the last word. Now I feel bad.
Yeah.
But
wow. Tell you just all roads lead back to Laurel. Just ended on that.
All roads lead back to Laurel. And that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like button. The subscribe if you want more content from Team Absolution here in the future.
Check out our Discord.
Oh, check out our Discord, of course. And this is the Irish God and the Captain and the Immortal Greed. For a minute. Signing off. Peace.
Mm-hmm.